Hey, what's good, everybody? Welcome back. Today, I've got a orange honey glazed salmon that we're gonna serve over some sesame soba noodles with a little bit of shiitake mushrooms and bok choy. Now, before we get into the recipe, as always, do me that favor, like, subscribe, follow, hit that notification bell so that you don't miss any of these great recipes. A lot of you guys have been asking me to do a salmon dish. Now, I love Asian flavors. This one's super easy. We're gonna start in a pan. We'll sear that salmon up, finish it off in the oven, and then we're gonna saute up some noodles, a little bit of bok choy, some mushrooms and stuff. So let's get into the ingredients, and then we'll get into this recipe. For our ingredients today, like I said, a lot of Asian flavors here. We've got our shiitake mushrooms. We got some bok choy. We're gonna blanch that, and then we're gonna cut these leaves off. The stalks we'll save for something else later. I just want the leaves today. We've got some honey, some garlic, some soy. That's going to be our glaze along with some OJ. We've got some Fresno peppers here. We'll saute those up and use some for the garnish. Some soba noodles, sesame oil, some avocado oil, butter just to saute our star here, our salmon. So let's get our marinade together and then we'll get cooking. Okay, the first thing that we got to do is marinate our salmon. While that salmon is marinating, we need a pot of boiling water. We'll use that to cook our soba noodles, blanch that bok choy so that we can cook that up later. Go ahead and also preheat your oven to 400 degrees.
For our marinade, we're going to start with a little bit of garlic here. I use about 2 tablespoons. Next, we're going to add in our soy sauce. Now, you can use low sodium here if you like. I use the full strength. It's about a cup or so. Again, all the specific measurements will be down in the caption below. Then we're going to take half of an orange, squeeze in that juice. You can certainly use bottled if you like, but I had orange, it was fresh, so that's what I'm using here. After our orange, we're going to go in with some honey. This is going to provide some sweetness, obviously, to our sauce. This is what's going to help it thicken up when we make our glaze. But we've got sweet, we've got salty, we've got garlic. Now we're just going to go ahead and whisk this together. Now the honey is pretty viscous, so you want to whisk this together thoroughly to make sure that it's all nice and combined, and we'll coat our fish nice and evenly. Now that our marinade is finished, I'm going to transfer this over into a Ziploc bag. Now, if you want to use some sort of Tupperware dish or casserole dish or whatever you use for marinating, that's totally fine. Go ahead, put our fish in there. The reason I like to use Ziploc bags is because I can get all of the air out. Watch, as I'm rolling this over, I'm getting all of the air out of this, making sure that my fish is completely covered in my marinade. If it's not completely covered, it kind of defeats the purpose of marinating it and getting all those flavors in there. Let's go ahead and put our salmon in the refrigerator until we need it. Now it's time to blanch our bok choy. In some boiling water, we're just going to start the cooking process here, but also what blanching is going to do, it's going to lock in that bright green color. We don't want to lose that with our bok choy. Now, again, thin and leafy here, we only need about 30 seconds. So once that's ready to go, we'll pull that out. Into an ice bath it goes to stop that cooking process, and then using that same water, we'll add in our soba noodles. Again, 4 to 5 minutes here and into an ice bath so that they maintain their integrity.
Salmon's marinating, bok choy's been blanched, our soba noodles are cooking. Now they only need about 4 or 5 minutes. We are going to finish those in the pan later, so we want them to still be a little bit al dente, but they won't take anywhere near as long as like regular pasta. So while they're finishing up cooking, we'll go ahead and slice up our bok choy, cut up some of those Fresno peppers and our mushrooms, and by that time our salmon should be good to go. Because of that soy sauce, it's going to marinate pretty quickly, but we're also going to take that marinade and reduce it down to a glaze to finish off our dish.
So for the bok choy, I'm just going to use a chiffonade technique here. Basically, I take the smaller leaves, put that inside the larger leaves, and roll it up just like this. Now, when I slice it, it's going to give me some nice little ribbons as opposed to, just a rough chop of bok choy or leaf or whatever. Once that's done, we'll set that over to the side, and we'll take our shiitake mushrooms, and again, just a rough chop here into some bite-sized pieces. For the Fresno pepper, I'm going to take the top off. We're going to remove the stems and seeds. Insert your funny joke in the comments. Would love to hear them. But you can leave the seeds in if you like. Just for this particular dish, I don't need them. I don't want them. So we'll take those out. Just remove the core. Once I've got those stems and seeds out and just the flesh of the pepper, go ahead and just give that a rough chop as well. All right, our veg prep is done. It's time for our salmon. Saute pan, 2 tablespoons avocado oil. I like avocado oil here because it's a high heat oil. It's not gonna smoke. To that, I'm gonna add a couple tablespoons of butter. And want to use that butter oil mixture because it's also gonna help the butter not to burn. Butter just provides great flavor, that's why it's in there, but we don't want it to burn. Once that's melted and frothy like this, we'll go ahead and put our salmon in presentation side down. That's the side that we want to show on the plate. Now we want to make sure we have good surface contact with the pan, so we'll press on that a little bit and make sure that it doesn't curl up. And we need about 2-3 minutes on this side to give it a nice color. Now I left the skin on, you can certainly take that off if you like. Now flip that over, great color here, and we'll do the same thing on the skin side. Then we'll transfer this to a pan and put this in the oven to our desired doneness. While the salmon's cooking, we'll go ahead and make our glaze using the same pan we just cooked that fish in. Now the honey in here, the sugars, they're gonna reduce down. It's gonna make this nice and thick. So just use your spatula. We're gonna stir this up, make sure we're scraping up all of our flavor off the bottom of the pan, and just let this reduce about 1/4 of the way. It should start to look like this, nice and syrupy, and then we'll remove that from the heat. All right, now let's finish off the dish. To a wok, we're gonna add some avocado oil. If you don't have a wok, it's totally fine. We're also gonna add in a little bit of sesame oil here. I just like to use the wok because I have one and it's an Asian dish, so why not? We'll add in our bok choy. Then we're gonna go ahead and throw in our shiitake mushrooms that we chopped up, along with those fresno peppers. Now a wok will get really hot really quickly. However, because it is thin, it doesn't really hold the temperature, so you wanna keep it on the heat as much as possible. Once all of our veg is in there, we'll just go ahead and saute this up, get it all nice and coated in that sesame oil, olive oil flavor. Just give that a few minutes to sort of absorb all of those flavors. Once that's done, we go ahead and add in our soba noodles. Now this goes pretty quickly. Like I said, that wok will stay really hot as long as you keep it on the fire here. And we'll just go ahead and mix in our noodles. Again, getting everything all coated and covered in this flavor. Just give that a good mix. Next, we're gonna add in some rice wine vinegar. Rice wine vinegar's got a little bit of sweetness to it, but again, we're gonna add some acid to this dish. We've got a lot of sweet and savory flavors, so we need a little bit of acid to kind of balance those all out. Once we've got that mixed together, last thing we're gonna do is check for seasoning and adjust to your preference. A little salt, a little pepper, and then we go ahead and plate that up. Put our noodles down, salmon on top. Don't forget the glaze that we just made. And then we'll finish that off with a little bit of orange and some Fresno peppers for color.
It smells amazing. I love Asian flavors. One of my favorite to work with. And this is, oh, look at that. That is just perfectly cooked salmon and these noodles. A little bit of heat, a little bit of sweet. A lot of great flavors in this. Do me a favor, don't forget, like, subscribe, follow, comment, notification bell. Until the next dish, y'all.